So in addition to giving you a whole new story to think about as far as where we come from and who we are, I also want to give people life skills. I want to help you in any way I can. Reconnect the brains, your left to your right again. Um, just in short, for people who haven't heard of me before on this channel or anywhere in the world, we are all born with a right brain only. It is the part of us that carries our wisdom. It carries our conduit to Christ, which is like a baby of love, pure love. It's a specimen of love. As you know, every infant is. Depends on how you look at them, I guess, though nowadays. People don't believe me that they think demons can be born. That's absolute nonsense. Unless they're made in a test tube and they don't have a beam in their eye. I've seen them on TV. No beam in the eye? They're I don't know what they are, guys. I don't know. Because it's not supposed to close until you die. And then they come out of your eyeballs and they become stars. Before you can become what you originated as, though, you have to reattach your right brain to your other brain, your left brain, which is the imagination that gets manifested. And the big story is the Garden of Eden, all of the scriptures. That's the big story. It's all hypnosis, and it had people walk into somebody's story, believe in it, begin to worship it, even feel all warm and fuzzy around it, because you can manifest it, whatever you think. But it's all based upon a slavery system. It's a commune. It's a commune of worship in every sector, every part of the world. It's a commune of worship. And this, people at this point feel so pathetic and weak. They're begging God, screaming out to the skies. And nobody has a fucking clue where God is. Well, duh. It's in the right brain. All of your miracles are right there, right in your own heads. Yeah, I know. I was raised with you guys too, and I was all left brain. I was a man. Well, not really. I better correct myself because nobody knows anything anymore about people. I was trained to be a man. I was taken away from my intuition, and I went for the left brain military camp, the commune, the prison. Everywhere in my life, I was so frustrated. Every freaking way, every place. Kindergarten wasn't too bad. But after that, it was all held downward. Nothing made sense to my brain. Nothing made sense, really, guys. It really didn't make sense to my right brain at all. Now, I wasn't a creative little girl. I hated art, and I didn't ever consider myself creative. And ever did I ever consider myself creative. The opposite. I remember, my grandmother encouraging me to make homemade soups, right? That's what a good grandmother does. So, I'm working, probably going to school or belonging to 50 professional organizations and pretending I'm running a family too. I decided I was going to make homemade soup, and I looked up a recipe, and I couldn't believe it. What a bunch of hard work. You got to make the stock first, and that's like making a whole soup. I said, why are you going to make a soup twice? I said that. You got to make a stock, and then you got, no. And we didn't have cartons of stock at the time, or believe you me, I would have bought it. No, totally removed from my right brain, my original source of intelligence. And it's back! And I'm showing you. You can figure anything out. You can solve any problem. You can get anything done. There is no problem so big it can't be fixed. Women hold the right brain. Usually, they're supposed to. And then they have Christs, babies. They create Christs. Christ comes out of them. And what we've done since the Garden of Eden is completely wiped out the right brain. Went dark. She became a lobotomized, zombie worshipping man. And he became her master. And her intelligence. Come on, you know that's true. All the men mansplain. And they do not take the word of women. You gotta look at the pyramid here in our world. Look at it. There's no women. And the women that are there are men. Michelle Obama included. And they're perverting us with the television, the images. You see, your beads are recording your story. See, you're in a story. You're in the Garden of Eden story for 2,600 years, I'm guesstimating. And it's based on other intelligence I have, by the way. People always question me, no, it's 10,000. No, it's never. I'm saying that hypnosis was invented 3000 BC, so it makes sense to me that my figure in my brain that won't go away is 2,600 years. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. Success is not succeeding. It's not being an absolute. It's not being a judge of anything. Not of people or anything you can't possibly pinpoint. Could be 400 years old for all we know. Because they have been bullshitting the masses in every corner of the earth. They have been bullshitting with scripture. And they I don't know who, Rothschilds, you call them whoever you want, but this entity pays people. They let people at the top of the pyramid have money and fame. All they have to do is groom them to say, you'll be a fallen angel, but, that's nothing. Because they know what they're doing to mankind. They know what they've done to mankind. And it's coming to a head. It's coming to Revelations. Now, I could be wrong about that too. Because I know that we have lived through Revelations every 100 years. We go through the same wars, the same fighting, the same banking. It's just repeating. In one way or another, it repeats. Since Caesar there came over to the UK, right? That's where Caesar went. Just saw that on a show. I didn't know that intuitively. But you never know if it's true on the show either. But I think it's true. It makes sense. How the heck did the Romans get over it? Why is that place so perverted? Why is England just sickening when it comes to perversion and allowing it? And their kings and queens and pomp and pompous. They'd rather worship the queen than look around. The queen's doing. That would be on the right brain. People are on the left brain in the military and their own logic. And they get groomed and formed. They're NLP programmed to be split from their own brain. And I don't know how to get your brain back, other than what I do. Try to encourage you to use that muscle now and then of heart, because that's your right brain too. If you want another word for it, it's your heart. You come from heaven. Yeah, that's what heart means. Heavenly. Heart. This is hell. This is literally hell here. You know, when you're awoke and you see the satanic system, like, the worst is that these top employees, the doctors, the judges, the social workers, the scientists, the astronauts, they're Freemasons. They have to join a cult. They have to sacrifice themselves too. You're going to get a coat? Well, this is what we're going to take from you. And their families are at risk. You know, they're blackmailed. And no, I don't believe any of these men want to hurt anybody. Not in the least. But people get caught in a trap, as Elvis said. So, you know, even if you're not creative, as I wasn't, I got introduced to a little bit of creativity when I was in a psych ward once, and there was some occupational therapy. And there was this bisque, this fish that I was to paint with paintbrushes and everything. And I'm like, what? Grown-ass adult doing this? And there I was doing it and really feeling good. I went into myself. I went downtown. And I always love color, right? I'm a color girl. And so decorating with color, that is where I was creative. I had nice houses with nice decorations because I knew how to create that. It comes from my heart, and that did not leave me with that. So there I was introduced to it again, and I kept doing the bisque painting, and it was just so much fun. I made my whole Christmas tree full of bisque decorating. Of course, I was 100% alone by then. Every one of my ornaments had one of my nieces or nephews or grandchildren or somebody close to me's name on it. But the judge got me, you know. You get focused on somebody and something, and no matter what they say, it's just going to sound worse and worse and worse for me. Crazier and crazier. And there's just no way they'll hear me, these people, my family. And Dylan Thomas, my grandson, who was adopted out 6 months after Trevor was dead, to a lesbian, raised by a lesbian here. Yeah, that's a logical sense. 58 years old, too. And she had the right to cut us out of his life. And we had known him all along. He was about 4 when he was adopted. Maybe a little younger. I get lost in my times and dates these days. So you can't pin me down on that. But I remember him being my light. Trevor didn't turn out very well. There he has his son. He's just a specimen of joy. Anybody can be twisted, you know, through their experiences in life. Not to put the blame on anybody, but it's on the parents. But then the parents are groomed. So what are you going to do? Sit there and hate your parents for eternity now because the system sucks? Or do you really feel it's personal? Because it's not. It's left brain personal. It's judge personal. It's make a conclusion it's not succeeding. Fear takes us away from our own survival intuition. That's what it does. Fear is in the left brain, right? That is the opposite of Christ, of love. And it's only in the left brain. There's no fear at death. No fear at all. But our natural intuition is shriveled up. Like, to what you should be, what your body tells you to guide you, your natural intuition. That time I was in the Kmart, Trevor was a baby, I had to leave him with a neighbor because he was sick. And so I went over to Kmart there to get some medicine and juice or something. And right there in the middle of my shopping, I left the cart in the aisle. I just ran home without it, buying nothing. I just had this heart thing that Trevor needed me now. And I burst through her door, and sure enough, he was crawling around outside November rain. He was like 6 months old. He was born in May with his diaper off. And this wench of a woman was lying on her sofa. Oh, I was just going to get him again. You know, he's always crawling now. There's no humanity in my world. No. That's what I have to live with. I have to live with my memories of what every fucking person did to me or my kid. I have to live with that now. But thank me, God, I do. Because I can work through it emotionally. I can't if I'm dead and I find out. I can't. You can't, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Your feelings are going to come back and the picture is going to be 100% different. It's going to be 180 degrees different than what you ever think about people. You're wrong. Just know you're wrong. If you have judged somebody, you are wrong. And there's something wrong with you. That's what I'm saying to you. You've got to cut out that judgment and start learning how to see people in their spirit. Everybody's of Christ to begin with. God knows what happened to people. You don't have to hang around them. Like, I don't want to, like, honestly, I just don't, I cannot. Yeah, it's getting suspicious now because I'm here 5 years this June in Quebec City. Still don't know French and I don't know a soul. And it's getting a little suspicious, right? But that was why I was guided here. I needed this time. I really needed this time to be clear on what the hell, because listen, I was raised here. I know my story is very unusual. But it's the only one I got. And it's the only thing coming up out of me. And consciousness is not a conclusion. You're not succeeding when you say you're woke. You're not fucking woke. Nobody's fucking woke. I'm not woke. You're never gonna, it's infinite intelligence, infinite knowledge, infinite knowing. Every day I get a bright light. Every day. Something new to think about. I adore my downtime. I adore being on my own, doing my cooking and doing my arts, going for walks, making soup. I just made a beef tomato soup and shared it with my neighbor today. It's just a wonderful life. Now, I have very sorrowful times, don't get me wrong, because I still have my memories, of my broken souvenirs. But I had to use my mental imagination to close the door, and it's a big black door I have in my mind's eye that just shuts the fucking door to British Columbia. It's better that way. I don't have to think about each individual person. I just shut the door on British Columbia. That's got to be the most vile, evil place on earth. It is so satanic, so perverted, and nobody's safe. But they go along pretending. They're judges. They're the worst judges in the world. When I was going down from, I was living in West Kelowna, copper sky, beautiful 2-bedroom overlooking the lake, pools, the whole 9 yards. I was treated very well by my guides. And I was prepared. I had the beings of light and Trevor come. It was so loud and real that there was no denying what had happened. I just couldn't remember everything the same day because it's a historical nightmare. And then what happened to my son, seeing your movie, right? Seeing what your life with your new eyes. It just sucks. It sucks so bad. I can't tell you. So that's why I'm here. I'm almost in tears for you. You know, I want you to feel it now. I want you to start seeing people differently and wondering what the fuck's wrong with yourself for judging. You know, who the fuck are you? What story do you have? How much better are you? Especially if it's your parent or child. You're probably fucking twin flames. You're gonna find out. You don't have them anymore. Everybody's trapped in a sadomasochistic type of sexual deviancy thinking, and or queer. It's so bad, and it's in everything. That's why it's bad, guys. It's in everywhere you look, and all they have to use is a headline to get you imagining. You know, some people are so full of fear in the head. They connect it to their heart. They feel anxious, right? Anxious. That is their intuitive fucking brain saying, something's wrong, something's wrong. If you feel anxious all the time, there's something wrong. Okay? You've got to look into something. And you can't stop until you do. I give you permission. Oh my God, it's just horrible what I missed. It's horrible what I missed. It's horrible. It's, I'm responsible. And you are too. And at death, that's what we know. That's what we know. I am responsible. And then if you can't find your people, you can't find the beings. That's how we recognize one another. You know how people say, oh, when I met her, I knew it was the one, and, you know, our eyes just look. Yes, that's the reality. You trust young people. Trust the young people. Well, I don't know about these days, because since cartoons and daycare, no. Can't trust anybody. In order to make the right decision based on what they see. When they connect with their beings, it's all, our spiritual world is so different. We are all interconnected playing roles, and we can choose any role we want. You chose this role. I don't know if you went way off rails in your role, but you have chosen your roles. Because we know what's going on here, guys. The spirit world knows. That's what the golden beams of light really, really impregnated in me. That they know the spirit world is all in on this. Like, I'm not alone here. And there's bigger spirits than me. I just keep feeling that something's got to give any day now. I keep feeling that. Any day now. Maybe it'll be on Dylan's birthday, the 27th. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Funny, that poet was from the time of Queen Mary, too. It's Shakespeare. I think the spirit world is very intelligent and knows what they're doing when they're being born again. But the ego, the left brain, the fantasy, is so imprisoned in that thought to move out. Hey guys, I know what it's like to move out of the left brain into the right brain. I was like, for instance, you could never talk to me about reincarnation. I would never believe that, ever. In a million years would I have ever believed that. Everything that we know is a lie. And we've been, like, women are the conduits to the creative part of us. So every invention you know about came from a woman. You know, they'll say, "Matt, no, no, no. That's the way the system works. She can't be. She only got the boat. She was a slave. She was a property of man until 1920. And still, in many countries, still the property of man. No human rights. And we go along with that. Yeah, okay. Let's go bomb them. But not for that. For their gold. For their artifacts. And thank you for your service. Imagine seeing that. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Don't you see? It's just gotten so bad. Everybody's gonna be in a nightmare. Everybody. For how they contributed to this instead of working on their own. Yeah, there's nobody to blame. There's nobody to blame. I'm not blaming people, and there's nothing to blame. It is. It is. We have to face it is a satanic world. And they're driving everybody to fucking hell. Literally. Because I guess in a way you could say, as I worked through everything in these, 5 years, it's worth it. It's worth working through it by yourself, in whatever way you can. I don't know your story or your situation, but reprogramming to reconnect your right brain would have to start with using it, using your heart, using your creative side. Or men like to build, right? Build something and think. That's I am not a man, so I really don't know, right? So, but that's what comes to me, like build something and think. I've seen a huge difference in my landlord in the last 5 years. And all he's been doing lately in the last 2 years is build. Like this place is just build, build, build. Does a lot of thinking. I don't think about the wrong things anymore because he used to be homosexual. Now he's not. He's got a steady wife there. He's been there 3 years this June. I couldn't believe it. What happened? Yeah, I think he's been building on this place since he bought it. I don't know when he bought it, but why not? Build something. Fix something up. I saw a show, Escape to the Country again. I like that little mindless show, and it tells me a lot about the UK I want to know about. And just hate the commercials. You can't fast forward fast enough. You still have to see those godforsaken, ugly people. They're so ugly. They're putting such a hideous... You're recording from your beams in your eyes, and they're putting horrible images for you to see in your imagination, which doesn't die for a while. I don't know when, but you still got it at your death. Ask my son. You have to be able to know what is real and what is not. And if you don't know what is real and what is not now, you're not gonna then. It's really bad. That's why we're in the reincarnation trap, I feel. We've been recycling into these roles again and again. You cannot carry those imaginations. No, I can't see this going on. No, I won't be around for it if it does. No. And that's what I said, that the feminine spirit is leaving. This 100 years is really bad, guys. They've normalized total broken families, inter weirdo relations, war, authority, medical authority. It's just nuts. The prison is so tight now. The matrix is so tight. You'll never get out of that until you get your heart going again. And you use your intuition to know when something's wrong. And if you can't, then practice looking around and being sure you know what your anxiety comes from. It's not physical, unless you're on high drugs or something. I don't know. This song came to me, and I thought, that's that ugly, murderous kind of song where a woman's again gonna kill this guy down by the Ohio. But now it makes sense. She's telling him, only say you'll be mine, a soulmate. Listen, there's no other option. You don't have to put a knife to anybody. It's going to happen. It's going to be broke. I see all of these songs on my playlist as afterlife. My whole perception on them has completely changed. When your perception changes, you see things much differently. But make sure you're seeing things in a way that makes you feel good, you know. And if you're not seeing things in a way that makes you feel good, you've got to get to the bottom of it. I don't have any answers as far as anything regarding the emotional terrorism going on. I don't know what's going on now. I don't watch. I just drop my links in BitChute and carry on. I still can't stand the headlines, so they're all shocking. Their promises or a shocking thing coming up, or guess what you're gonna have to live with now, guys. You're gonna have to guess what the WEF program's gonna do now, guys. And then you start sitting there imagining it and walking right into it. Making it happen for them. They can't do it without us. They can't do it without our programmed brains being completely left. This song called Sad Movies, I hear about a girl who dies and she's invisible. Like I said, we don't die. But she started seeing her story here. I hope you can hear it. Yeah, it's very spiritual and very reminiscent of what happens at death. It's not a afraid movie, it's a sad movie. Depending on how far into the movie of hell you went, I guess. You, you can be self-aware now. She goes to her creator, her mom. I also have a feeling that we switch roles, emotional roles, and we have for a while because of the knowledge that what we're living with here on earth. We know in spirit. The beings of light knew. My son knew. You have to understand that starting over can be a real blessing if you think about it. What do you want to let go of? What really, what kind of thought do you really want to stop thinking? And you can make it happen. You can change your movie. You can change your movie by using your heart and then feel the heaven that you'll get, the emotional heaven. It's a it's so sharp, our love on the other side. I had it with Trevor when he brought the beams of light. It's so sharp, our love. And we can't feel that here. That's not, that feeling was never here, ever, ever. But we are far more when we have our connection of love back. When we know what we have become and don't want to be, and who we harmed. You know, I don't think it's about like it, with my son, when I saw all that, it wasn't about um, him being angry. It was about him needing me to know before I die. And that's what we have to do. You have to be honest with people if you've been harmed, and you have to let them know. Or if you harmed, even, you know, you have to, guys. If this is, if you want, you know, survival skills, that's what to do. And I know how hard it is. You know, I will carry what I missed with me, but I know about it. So there's no shock. There's no, it's just sorrow. It's sorrow. But I have more joy than I have sorrow over what I saw. Because I saw myself my whole life as other people saw me. And I felt that way too. Ugly, ugly, ugly. So did my grandmother. Ugly duckling, she called herself. That's how we felt. That's a costume our families put on us. And schoolmates and friends. You know, it's, people find kind people, generous people, weak. And they take advantage every chance they get. It's a left brain survival here. It's a hustle. Since Caesar came over to the UK there. Yeah, there's something to that. There definitely is. Yeah, in my world, there's angels. In my world, they work through people. I am so content and looked after, and I don't have a dime. I have $20 to last till Friday, but I don't need anything. I've got everything. delicious meals all the time. And the only way I can express to you is they exist. Spiritual angels and guardian angels do exist. And you can believe in what you're experiencing, you know? You can believe in that. There's a book called, I don't like to promote it too much because it's by a suspect. Any popular book is suspect, right? But this one was called Hello from Heaven, by Judy and Bill G something or other. You can find it if you Google it, Hello from Heaven. And this book is a study of about 2,000 people who had the same experiences I had with Trevor. So that was my very first afterlife book. I got Trevor sitting down in my bed, playing with my electricity. This is typical stuff. And pets too. You know, you hear them. You hear them for a while. I don't know if they're your guardian angel and will stay around you. I doubt it because I don't have them around me all the time. So, you know, you can't think like that. But if you do feel it, you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself with your deceased loved ones. If the bond was great, you can trust yourself. But, you know, in the grieving parent support group I belong to, only 10% of us had those experiences. And that's very sad. It's just broken cords. It's all very new in such a mass scale. And it's because of the picture shows. They took your imagination right away from your right brain, and you no longer had to think about your own conscience. You could follow the crowd. You could join a club, go to school, and find lots of people who will agree with you, and it makes it okay. You can frame anything to be okay. But if it's not okay, it's not okay, no matter how you frame it. And you got to know that deeply, intuitively, what is okay, what is not okay. I feel like, you know, what I say is hard for people to hear, and I hope I'm helping. I hope I am triggering, you know, I'm here for that too. And it's not out of hate or judgment. It's about what my role is. My story is real. My story is like I'm creating it here with my own imagination. What pops up. If it makes sense to you, great. Because my story is wiping out this story that we've been in, the Garden of Eden. That's my story. And I am sticking to it as far as my emotional relationship with my son and our known past lives. We've had many more than the 4 that I know about because of the other 3 being so prominent, so the most prominent men in the world. Jesus, King James, and Elvis Presley. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. It took me 4 years to actually say it out loud. I knew I was married. I did. I really knew that. But I just couldn't see Trevor as Jesus. No way. But you understand, he wasn't anybody's Lord. He was Christ conscious of his childhood. He's Christ conscious of your childhood is joy and love. And that's where I was worshiping Lucifer Jesus myself. You know, this Lord. And that's not right. But we can come in any role. We are so intelligent. You must be able to erase anything you think about history so that you can begin to believe that you do come from the stars. We do come from the lighter side of the moon, and we want to go back. You can see the continents on it, on the moon. That is our reality. This is hell. It's a fantasy garden, and it's time to walk out. Use your imagination to figure out how to walk out of the learned intelligence. Anyway, I think I'm going to attach that video. I was making some soup earlier and I think I said a few words. I don't even remember what I said. I was talking about my doctor's appointment today. That's what it was about. So I'll attach that to this. And I hope you all have a great evening. Or if you're seeing this in the morning, I hope you give it a like. Let me know that I got somebody listening. Somebody can hear me. You know, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You just have to appreciate that I'm not a liar. And I would never drive anybody into a worse situation than what we're in right now. And my intentions are pure. I don't want your money. I just like a like or two from time to time. And that would help my algorithm, you know, that's what I heard. But people are afraid to put a like. Oh, what if somebody sees I like this? Or they're mad and triggered. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.